I'm sure like many of you guys, both of Jim's first books were extremely influential in my faith. It showed me how much I had placed God in a box and how much I had limited him with my beliefs of who he was. I was in youth ministry through college. After reading Divine Nobodies, it just became one of those books that I felt like every graduating senior I had should read. And so I handed copies of it out. I gave copies to my father-in-law, to my family.
My son-in-law gave me the book, and I read it at a time that it really had incredible meaning to me. My wife was battling cancer. The most meaningful things that happened during that time were done by Divine Nobodies. But I felt so strongly about it that felt like it was so important that I went and bought half a dozen copies and gave them to relatives and people I work with. I gave my brother a copy. Actually, I've given a couple of my brothers copies. It's just important to me. Anybody that I love, basically, I want them to read this book.
I identified with so many of his struggles and things that he went through. He really opened my mind to some different ways of thinking. Realizing we know that the church is the body of Christ, but I don't think I'd ever really put that into practice. And I would constantly be thinking, I need to share this book with a friend or a family member or someone else, because I realized that it applied to so many different people. I ended up giving the book to my daughter and to a young man that was in my youth group because of some struggles that he was going through.
Reading the chapter about how the dog was a comfort to him, it really struck me as something pretty significant, because I thought if he can use a dog, he can most certainly use me.
One of the things I learned from reading Jim Boehmer's books was that Christianity is more than just a set of rules and a set of traditions that you learn from your parents. It's more about the relationships that you build with the people around you. That loving your neighbor means loving everyone that you come in contact with, and the being real with them shows them Jesus.
The biggest thing that I've learned through Jim's books is that Christianity is so much more than just a mere denomination, and I feel like he does a great job of explaining how people miss out on experiencing God in their everyday lives because they're too busy following a routine.
What I discovered was that Jesus was special not because he was more divine than any of the rest of us, but because he was courageously more human than most. And that message did not go over well with my Christian publisher. My manuscript was rejected and my contract was canceled. And this is really different for me. I'm self-publishing.
Put simply, Jim needs our help. He's not a person who would ask for help, so that's why I'm going to do it for him. If you have been influenced at all by Jim's writings, by him speaking, just anything in your life, please contribute so that this newest book gets published. It's a very small price to pay to help someone who has been so influential to us all.